We are in Algebra 1, Lesson 4-5, point slope form. Today's date is Friday, November 6th, 2020. Our objective today is to, Ripley.
Find the equation of a line in point slope form, which given or when given 2 points.
There it is. So it's very similar to a prompt that we had before. Find the equation of a line in slope intercept form when given 2 points. This is just now in a different form. And there's the form. It's y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And when you first look at that, you might say, wait, that looks harder. Why is this Mr. Sandell's favorite form? And we'll get to that in a bit, but I want to box things that are going to turn into numbers. y1, that's going to be just a number. M, well, that's a slope. That's also just going to be a number. And x1, that's going to be a number. These three spots, that is going to be what we need to find. We need to find three numbers, which, again, you might be thinking, well, in the last one, we only had to find two numbers. We only had to find M, slope, and we need to find B, the intercept. The problem is the intercept wasn't always easy to find. This x1 and y1 is always really, really easy to find, because what is x1, y1? x1, comma, x1, comma, y1 is just a point, and it can be any point. Notice how in example 1 it's giving you 2 points, -1, 2, and 2, 8. I can use any one of those. So Khan Academy makes it a little bit harder and says, we've chosen a point for you, so you have to figure it out from that point. So it is a little bit harder, but not that much harder. And then, of course, m is our slope. What is our equation for slope, Ripley? That is slope-intercept form, but slope in just an equation, though. Change of y over change of x. Does anyone else have a different formula that they like to use? Everyone uses Ripley's formula? Diego?
Is it 1, 2 minus 1, 1?
There it is, x2 minus x1. Any other formulas that you like to use? Ripley again? Rise over run. And I think those are the main ones. If anyone is using a different one, please let me know, because I'm curious. Use whatever works for you. If you like the formulaic way of just plug and chug, this one is for you. I like changing y over changing x because it lets me know y is the first number. Rise, I guess, also is a good English way of thinking of up and down versus, I don't know, run sounds so weird to me though, right? Why does run mean left and right? I don't know. I like changing x. That definitely means left and right. All right, so 2 examples. First example, complete the point slope equation of the line through -1, 2, and 2, 8. Notice that it's already done part of the equation for you. Look at that left-hand side. In the general form, we should have y minus the y coordinate of the point. Well, it's already chosen the y coordinate for the point. It's subtracting a 2. So my question for the entire class right now is, which point are they using? Are they using -1, 2 or 2, 8? Braden? Close. Remember, 2 is the x coordinate, and they've chosen the y coordinate for their formula here. Explain why, though. Close. It's not necessarily the y-intercept. Yeah, Ripley?
Because they're using y.
The y, yeah. So this is the y coordinate, and the y coordinate should be matched up with the y. Our general equation, and the way to think about this, is it's always the y variable minus the y coordinate. Over here, it's going to be the x variable minus the x coordinate. They get paired up next to each other. So this is our x, and that's our y. This is our x, that's our y. The only y coordinate that's a 2 is this one. So they're going to be using the first point. We can all circle the first point. That's the one that we're going to be using. Maybe we can circle a little bit smaller. That's the point that we're going to be using. Khan Academy will make you choose one or the other. Okay, then we need to do the rest of the equation. We need to find an m. And then maybe if you want, you can write out m times x minus x1 if you like. But I think for us, let's just go ahead and find m. So m is the number that's going to go right here. And m is slope. How am I going to find slope? You've done this before, over and over before. Jose?
You subtract y, second y, this formula right there, like the second one. where it says slope. We did this one.
Yeah, do that formula. Okay. You want to help? You want to do the top and someone else can do the bottom? You don't want to do the numerator?
It's gonna be 8 minus 2.
8 minus 2. Perfect. What about the denominator? Someone else? Sorry, Ripley. I don't want to call on someone new. Diego, you've kind of already participated too, but you're our backup because you haven't participated more than once. Someone new, preferably. Alden, Haiti, Ashley. What's the denominator? Alden? Really close. So we have to be careful because Jose started by doing the second point minus the first point, and or sorry, right here, you're doing now the first point minus the second point. So it needs to be the other way around. Okay, so if you were doing it Jose's way, what would it be? 2 minus -1. So that means you probably have something that looks like 2 minus 8 all over -1 minus 2 like that. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so both of these are valid formulas. Make sure that you are using the correct, I mean, either of those are correct, but if you switch one of them but not the other, then it would be incorrect. All right, I need someone to simplify the numerator and the denominator at the same time. Prefer someone new. So I'm gonna give it either between Ashley or Haiti. One of you two girls. Simplify numerator, denominator. Ashley. Top of 6. Thank you. Haiti, that means you have to do denominator. Close. Remember, a negative times a negative is a positive, so I can say 2 plus 1, 3. And then Haiti, last thing, what's 6 divided by 3? 2. Our slope is 2, everyone. Woo! All right, everyone in the class has now participated mathematically. So if I come back up here to my original formula, I should have m times in parentheses. So I have my m is 2. So I have 2 in parentheses, x minus the x coordinate. What is the x coordinate of the point that we've circled? Braden? -1. There it is. All right, so this is mathematically correct, but it's not simplified because I have 2 double negatives. So who can simplify this formula? Get rid of those double negatives. Jose? X plus 1. And maybe I'll just kind of scribble that last plus out altogether. So our final answer is y minus 2 is equal to 2 times the quantity of x plus 1. That's point slope form. Notice we don't have to plug in and solve for b. All you did was plug in the correct point. All right, give me a fist of 5. Did I lose anyone? 4, 5, 4, 5, 5, 4, 4. All right, and 3. All right. Any questions before we move to example 2? Please, questions. I love questions. Yeah, Diego.
Where does the x come from in the parentheses?
Great question. So this x right here, where did that come from? Can someone else answer that? Because a lot of people gave 5s. You got to call on someone, Diego.
The x and
Yeah, where did this x come from?
did that come down from the original paper?
Yeah.
Or did it just come from there?
Yeah, so this x and this y are always just staying there. They're just normal variables. They're not constants. This y1, m, and x1, those are going to be numbers. That's going to be a number. That's going to be a number. That's going to be a number. But this y and x, they stay variables. Yeah, thank you, Ripley. Good question. Yeah, Jose?
Are we gonna have graphic integration?
Eventually, yes.
Oh,
And you've already done it before. You did it last unit. It's just you didn't know that it was called point slope form. I said, here's a point, and the slope is blank. Graph that line. So it's the exact same question, but now I'm going to embed it in this type of form, this point slope form. Other questions before example 2? All right, I'll let you guys try it on your own. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording. All right, it looks like I think the entire class has the correct answer now, so I'm going to go ahead and solve this on my own. The first thing is I'll write the rest of the formula that we need. M times x minus x1. The most common mistake I found was that this needs to be a negative sign. You always have y minus the y coordinate. You always have x minus the x coordinate. So from here, we need to find m. M is equal to, and then I'm going to do the change in y. So 6 minus a -5 in this case. 6 minus a negative 5. And then for the denominator, again, second minus first point, negative 6 minus a 3. Negative 6 minus a 3. Whenever you have two negatives on the inside, I know it is 6 minus a negative, but there's two minus signs right here, so it's going to be 6 plus 5. If my computer would stop lagging, there it goes. 6 plus 5 is 11. Negative 6 minus 3. Whenever you have just two negative signs, another good trick is using a keep, change, change. Keep the negative 6, change the sign, change the sign. So what's a negative 6 plus a negative 3? That is a negative 9. And for Khan Academy, you can't just write the negative with the denominator. You have to write it either in the numerator or out front. And I personally like it just out front. It's a negative 11/9, which is also equal to a negative 11 over a positive 9. It doesn't matter where the negative goes, mathematically speaking, but for Khan Academy, they like these last two forms. So from there, I can rewrite our equation. So far we can't change this part on Khan Academy. They'll leave it unsimplified. They leave it like that so that it's easy for you to tell what that y coordinate is. For my class, on my test though, you will be simplifying that. So let's go ahead and practice that. It's gonna be y plus 5 because there's a double negative. That 5 looks terrible because of computer lag, is equal to the slope of negative 11/9. And then in parentheses, x minus the x coordinate. And the x coordinate in this case is 3. So because they're using the y coordinate of negative 5, the corresponding x coordinate is 3. So I say x minus 3. And again, the most common mistake that I saw was having that as a plus sign. It needs to be a minus sign by default. It only turns into a plus when I have a double negative. That is our final answer. I box it. And hopefully the computer lag will make this an okay rectangle. Close enough. And that concludes the notes.